How's it going, YouTube? This is Abnormal Truth doing another video here. This is a video about a YouTube channel that I respect very much, but I disagree with just a couple of things he said in a video. No big deal. Not trying to start a fight or any of that kind of nonsense. I run away from drama. But he was kind of speaking against channels like mine or what I'm eventually going to turn my channel into. So I kind of have to defend my view on it. Now, this channel I'm talking about is called A Call for an Uprising. This guy's a very hardworking YouTuber. This channel was one of those channels that eventually woke me up to the Luciferian agenda and led to me being saved. I have the utmost respect for A Call for Uprising. You should go over his channel, sub, and let's go ahead and bail. I'm pretty sure I've clicked on his notifications before. That's kind of strange. Anyway, um, very good channel. Let me sum his channel up real quick. He is all about exposing the Luciferian agenda, the synagogue of Satan, by showing you how much repetition there is out there. If you ever hear about movie stars and musicians using symbols and you just think it's crazy, well, actually go in there and take a couple hours to research this and look at the amount of quote unquote stars are out there using these hand symbols and the symbologies in their music videos and what the topics and themes are. You'll see the repetition. That will wake you up, hopefully. Because if it was just a few stars making a couple of hand gestures, I would have thought nothing of it, but this is pervasive. It's in everything, and the more popular something is, you can bet the more symbology and sigils are going to be used, and social engineering. So this guy basically was one of the channels that helped uh, de-brainwash me, and I believe he's helped lots of others. That being said, he did a video about Hollywood embraces the Mandela Effect. And now I did not start my channel out as a Mandela Effect channel. I started my channel out as a generalist. I call myself a generalist. Now I call myself a Christian truther. But my entire life, I've just liked to look at all the anomalies that happen to people. And so that's how I started out my channel. I think I did a video on Skinwalker Ranch or something. But as at the time I was starting my channel, the Mandela Effect hit me hard, and I still to this day believe in the Mandela Effect. I know I've been Mandela affected. Some people are not affected at all by the Mandela Effect, so I can see how not everyone would be into it. Okay. I'd like to say that I haven't made a Mandela Effect video in a very long time. I felt that after a while, okay, when I started talking about the Mandela Effect, there weren't that many channels talking about it. So there for a while, I felt like I was contributing something, at least calling out these Mandela effects, trying to say, hey, is anybody else having these? Or I had this one, and so on. But after a while, a lot of channels were making Mandela effect videos. A lot of dedicated channels were made, and I just kind of felt like I got lost in the wave of Mandela effect channels. And I did want to regurgitate the Mandela effect. And I feel like as time went on, they were grasping at straws, calling anything a Mandela effect just so they could make videos, get views. I don't know. It just kind of made me sick after a while. And I just want to say that I may have some theories about the Mandela effect, but I don't think we'll ever know exactly what happened, what's causing it. And it's just one of those things where, after heavily looking into it for a couple of years, just like UFOs, there's only so much you can kind of do in that field. And I don't like to specialize. I'm trying to get the big picture, right? I'm not just trying to zero in and microscopically look at all the subjects. I do kind of want to zoom in, but just I want to zoom in and move on to something else. So that being said, I am not tied to the Mandela effect, but I will go to my grave saying that the Mandela effect is real. Um, so I've got a couple points about his video, A Call for an Uprising. I got a couple points I want to just make about that. I'm going to try to make this short. I just had to give some backstory. I didn't want to call for an uprising to think that I was bashing him just because he made one video that I didn't agree with. But I wanted to make some points. So, his point here, one of the points he's making about the Mandela effect is that the X Files came out and did an episode on the Mandela effect. Now, he mentioned, and I have not seen this. I don't watch TV, so I have not seen this. I haven't had cable in 20 years. I have not seen this episode, but I know exactly, and I can imagine exactly what he's talking about in this video or this episode of the X Files. They made a X Files about the Mandela effect, and it was really lighthearted. They made a lot of jokes. There was funny music in the background, and usually the X Files is a pretty serious, edge of your seat, what's going to happen next kind of a show, right? And on this one, he's saying, and I believe A Call for an Uprising, he's saying that there's lots of jokes, and they're making the Mandela effect look ridiculous. And that's why he didn't speak out. He didn't say you shouldn't study the Mandela effect or anything. He just made the point that the Mandela effect isn't going to lead to anybody's salvation. And I kind of agree with that too. I don't see a lot of Christian value in the Mandela effect either, but I have a different viewpoint. They are I see this trend of what they're doing. Take the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect has not had a lot of media exposure for how much talk about it there is on YouTube and other social media. Take flat Earth for example. Obama talked about it a couple of times. There was a Netflix uh, documentary or whatever that was doing the same thing that they're doing to the Mandela effect here. They are making the average sleepwalking citizens, if they watch this show before they looked into the Mandela effect, they're going to just think it's hogwash because they use comedy to deflect, like A Call for an Uprising has said a million times. They're deflecting, they're making fun of it. So, yes, I agree with that, but it's not because the Mandela effect isn't real. They don't want people to look into it. And your average person that's going to watch this X Files, that's probably what's going to happen to them. They're being brainwashed and conditioned to laugh at the Mandela effect, and it's not just the Mandela effect. It's pretty much all the conspiracies out there. He talks about how they kind of lump all the conspiracies together, and he's complaining how the Mandela effect makes other conspiracies look ridiculous to the average person. That's a good way to sum up what he's talking about here. I agree with that, but I'm saying that they're using the X Files to deflect the Mandela effect, and that's my take on that. I'm not defending the Mandela effect. I don't think the Mandela effect's a good thing. I never got a warm fuzzy feeling for the Mandela effect. In fact, it kind of destroyed me for a couple days when it actually hit me. Yeah, I was thinking about that hard for a long time, and I don't really accredit the Mandela effect leading to my salvation. So I'll put that out there. But one of the things he mentioned later on in the video, I strongly disagree with. He's talking about Bigfoot, and I assume would be saying the same for any cryptids like Dogman. He said he basically says, and I listened to the video twice. Maybe I have it wrong, A Call for Uprising, but what I believe you were getting at was that they put the big Sasquatch out there to make it seem laughable. again, the trend I'm seeing is they put shows like Searching for Bigfoot or whatever out there with these kind of comical guys, in my opinion, to just make Bigfoot or Sasquatch seem ridiculous, and it paints the picture that anybody looks into those sort of things are just ridiculous people. So that's the psyop. Bigfoot itself is not the psyop. Bigfoot's been um, reportedly seen for hundreds of years, if not longer than that. So it's not a modern psyop. The psyop is them deflecting from people watching or studying or looking into Bigfoot. Same way with the Mandela Effect. They're poo pooing the idea because they have control of the media and what the mass population watches, listens to, and basically consumes. So everybody calling flat Earth, and I'm not a big flat earther. I just hold the possibility out there that that could be going on, but I don't go on other people's channels and go flat Earth, when they're not even talking about it. I'm not like that. But I do see how it could be possible. That's the realm we're living in, because I take the biblical view on it, and to me, that's what how the Bible describes the realm we're living in. Anyway, so to me, all of these new conspiracies that have come out, Mandela Effect, Flat Earth, this and that, they're not psyops in themselves, but they have psyops going on within them. They have shields. I'm not going to name any names, but I believe the people that had and got the documentary about Flat Earth on Netflix, those were shills put in there from the beginning to poo-poo the whole idea eventually. Because you have people all of a sudden that pop up in these fields, ufology, whatever you name it. They pop up and they get pushed and they get really popular because somebody is pushing their channels and their views out there so that eventually they can kind of poo-poo the whole area of research that they're doing. So I want to say that, and before I go, I'm gonna wrap it up. I just had a lot to say about this. But before I wrap it up, I just have to say that fallen angels and the Nephilim, because he mentions Nephilim. I don't necessarily say that Bigfoot and Dogmen are Nephilim, but it does say in some ancient text that the fallen angels manipulated the DNA of plants and animals. And you see things like the Minotaur and the chimeras and things like that. You see ancient drawings of them. And so I have uh, I believe that those things at one point were roaming the earth. And I guess the point that I want to make is that's knowing your enemy. Fallen angels are real, says it in the Bible. I fully believe that it says in the Bible that the fallen angels who followed Satan came down, mated with human women. Those women gave birth to the Nephilim, which often who were giants, and basically Satan's. There's a war in heaven. That's where it begins. One of Satan's strategies was to basically corrupt the humans' uh, genetics so that there wouldn't be any humans left to go to heaven. Why? Because it says in the Bible that the Nephilim, when they died, when those sons of angels died, they did not go to heaven. They have to roam the earth as unclean spirits. Why? Because they were not meant to be. They are not compatible with going to heaven because they're not human. They weren't designed to ever go to heaven. So when they died, they are just unclean spirits roaming the earth looking for people to possess, whispering in our ears. I'm a big believer in the devil exists, fallen angels exist. and the Nephilim existed, and to me, that's who the demons are. If you think that you've run into a especially powerful demon, you might have run into a fallen angel. A lot of people go, well, all the fallen angels were locked up in the abyss and are chained up. Well, no, it says that only the fallen angels that mated with the human women were locked up. A third of the angels fell with Satan. And we don't know how many angels there are, but you can bet a third was a large amount. There's lots of fallen angels out there. And it also says that we're fighting not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. That's what I believe a lot of those are talking about, are some of the fallen angels that are still roaming the earth. It says that Satan roams the earth like a lion. And so you have these things out there, and it's very important as a Christian to know these things, because this view on the Bible is not being taught by most churches. And I believe that's how you can really it opens up the Bible and gives you a way bigger understanding of what actually the war in heaven was and what's going on here, what the battle is when you understand that it was a genetic war. That's why the flood happened. It wasn't just that the humans were getting just wicked and sinning, and that was part of it, I'm sure. But there were all these. It says that Noah was pure in his generations. That's what he was talking about. That's why Noah and his family survived, because most of them, I think one or two of them, one of his son's wives maybe had, maybe not genetically pure, but most of the eight that were saved from the flood are pure in their generations, because if there were no original full-blooded humans left on the planet, then nobody would go to heaven. And so he had to wipe out everyone on the earth to save the human race, and that just makes so much sense. And a lot of people will use that as an argument when they don't understand that. They'll use that as an argument. Well, I don't want to follow a God that just kills everybody and has one family left just because they were sinning or whatever. Well, there's way more to it than that. And so, why I have said all this is just to bring home the fact that I think it's very important to know about the fallen angels, Bigfoot, Dogman. I'm not saying that Bigfoot and Dogman are Nephilim. But I know they're somehow related to the DNA manipulation that the fallen angels did. The fallen angels manipulated the plants and the animals, and I believe that's probably some form that is left over from them doing that. Somehow they survive. I think they have some demonic um, origins. So to me, yes, studying things like that are very important as Christians, because it also says in the end times it will be like the days of Noah. And in the days of Noah, I believe we had a lot of these things roaming the earth. And so it's important to know your enemy. Also, lots of people are interested in subjects like Bigfoot, and devils and all those kind of things. And once you can bend somebody's ear about that, you can also talk about other things in Christianity. You can kind of bring them in and get some viewership like that, while also explaining other things about Jesus and the Bible and salvation. But uh, I think those are topics that can help lead to your salvation, just as talking about the Luciferian agenda. I'll never say that is not a worthwhile topic. Very important, big part of why I have salvation is from seeing the repetition. So this is not a video against the call for an uprising. I just had a couple of problems with a couple of things he said. I have a feeling if I talked to him in person that we would get along and maybe I would know more about his point of views. just one more thing. He wasn't speaking outright against studying Bigfoot or anything. He just doesn't like it because they make it seem crazy, and it's made the conspiracy theories to the normal sheeple out there seem ridiculous. Well, that's already happened. All you have left are the many that do already see the truth that these things are happening. And you have the few sheeple that will wake up in between now and the end times. I don't really see it as a problem. Uh, if they pick on a subject in major shows like this in popular media, that tells you that's a big clue. Hey, that's probably going on. So to me, this the psi effect in itself is making fun of these conspiracies. See what I'm saying? I believe they use shows and the media and everything like that to make fun of these conspiracies. That's the psyop. I think most of these things are actually happening. We don't have all the information in most parts. The Mandela Effect, I will never know actually probably what created the Mandela Effect, and I pretty much have stopped thinking about it. I've knocked it down to time travel or CERN or some mixture of the two, timelines, that kind of thing. But I'll never know. Um, but I just know that it is happening and it was worth mentioning. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my video. I hope it didn't sound like a rant. I'm not coming against the call for an uprising. Sub to his freaking channel. This guy works hard. Lots of videos. He will show you the repetition of the satanic Luciferian agenda that everyone should know. If you watched 50 of his videos, you would see that it's just everywhere you look at these so-called stars and TV shows and music videos and all that, it's just over and over and over with the masonry symbology, the all-seeing eye, the Egyptian symbology. I mean, it's in your face. And 5 years ago, I also laughed at people that said the devil was real and that Satan controlled the music industry and this and that. I tell you what, I thought it was ridiculous too. But all these channels talking about these things woke me up because, like I said, I've been researching anything weird my whole life since I was 6 years old. And the Bible kept coming up in ufology and abduction research, and it was weird, and I just kept passing over it because I thought, nah, you have to really know. If you really know the Bible and you really study the Bible, you will see that it's not ridiculous, and you'll see that that's actually what's happening. That's what's going on. That's why we're all enslaved. That's why, for the most part, this world sucks, is because Satan owns it. And I believe if we were left to our own devices, there could still be some wars and this and that. But without Satan's influence here, that's why this place sucks for the most part. One more thought, because I said that. Well, why would God let Satan take over the planet and be the prince of this world? He's only the prince of this world. Uh, for the same reason he gave us the choice to be a sinner or follow him. It's all about free will. It's fair game down here. He put us down here to let us make that decision. Am I going to be good or am I going to be evil? It's it's uh it's free will because because God is like that. He's fair, he knows all, he's wise, and he has reasons for everything that he does. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me. I hope this wasn't a bad rant. I just had to make some points. He mentioned a couple of things that were pretty much everything I do on my channel, or what I will be doing on my channel. And so I just had to put my view out there. No disrespect. Love Call for an Uprising. Been a subscriber forever. and he helped with my salvation. I'm not going to say he was singly responsible for it, but he had a good part in it, and can't thank you enough for that. A call for uprising. Go to his channel, sub, click the bell, go to Patreon. I'm thinking about buying one of his shirts. I want to only wear like Christian shirts now on. Maybe I'll run into people in public. Somebody go, "Hey, I know that channel," or "Hey, that's a Jesus T-shirt," you know. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me, and I will come out with another video as soon as I can think of a topic I want to talk about. Email me at the abnormaltruth@gmail.com if you have a very, very wild story about something that actually happened to you. It doesn't have to be about cryptids, it could be about anything abnormal. I would really like to hear about if you have an interesting salvation story. That would be pretty cool. So if you think you may want to talk about it, I will make you anonymous. I will say your name, whatever you want to do. If your identity you want it to keep secret, but you want to come out and talk about your story, we'll do any of that. That's all cool. Whatever you want to do on that, email me describing what your story is, and one day maybe we'll get on Skype or Discord or something, and we'll make a show of it and have a talk. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. See you next time.